Hello and welcome back to the Blood and Thunder World Cup 2014 edition. This next game is going to be a consolation match, one of the first two consolation matches of the weekend. It'll be number 3 out of Group 4, that is Colombia, versus number 3 out of Group 5, and that is Team Greece. I'm AK40ounce.
I'm Snoogans.
And we will be bringing you the action right here from the roll line track at the Dallas Convention Center. So out there on the track, we have first off in the white, Team Greece with the blue, and they're going to jump right into the action. We'll get to the rosters in just a second. It'll be Zanetis first off.
And number 2 for Colombia, picking up lead jammer there. That's Monsoon Jump. Strong start for Colombia.
And there you see the action right there. Team Greece in the white with the blue and the flared sides. Meanwhile, with the blue and basically every other color they could cram into their amazing jerseys. Team Colombia scoring first, picking up 4 points. Compliments of Moonsun Jump. So a quick look at Team Greece and a short team, so this will be short. Number 0, Kikiras. Number 2, Diarrhea. Number 300, Spartacus. Sophia, number 360, number 4, Nacho Friend, number 44, Miahopoulos, 500, Beth Saltz, Kiss My V, number 8, number 85, J Berry Punch, and Papazakopoulos, number 950.
With that 5-second call, we will go through Team Colombia at their next available opportunity. But it looks like Colombia have got number 3, Lucky Ale, 0-3 up to jam for them now.
And Papazakopoulos for Team Greece being locked up in the back by the Colombia 3-wall, and it is Colombia, second lead jam in a row to start things out here. Papazakopoulos finally released out in front as the pack was spread out, and 2 out of play penalties coming to Colombia, leaving them with only 1 blocker. And 4 points are scored quickly by Lucky Ale before the call-off.
Colombia looking like they're going for that hit it and quit it, trying to obviously extend that lead that they've managed to get 8-0 so far, 2 jams in. This, of course, will be a full-length game, 2 30-minute halves as opposed to the 20-minute halves we've had so far this weekend.
So for Colombia, it'll be number 13, Karma with the star, up against number 8 for Team Greece, Kiss My V. Team Greece with a 3-1 pack advantage, and away we go. Kiss My V quickly around that 3 wall, just past the 1 and tapped outside after picking up lead jammer. That one compliments of Splatter for Colombia. Meanwhile, the jammer for Colombia being dragged back, Karma resetting and now getting free on the second attempt. Lead jammer has gone to Team Greece.
Both jammers now at the pack, and it looks like number 13 is going to try and shut that down, Karma.
Oh, beautiful jump right there. Did she stick the landing for the points? Indeed, she did. 4 points right there for Kiss My V. And Greece gets off of the Schneid in jam 3. It'll be 8-4, still in favor of Colombia. So I'll do my best with Colombia right here. We've got number 007 for Mortician, number 03 Lucky Ale, number 04 Castiblanco, number 100 Guillotina, number 13 Karma 2, Moonsun Jump, number 29 Maranya Pony, Mapi, number 333 666 Gautho, Viviana, number 83, number 9 Tsunami, number 90 Lilith, number 911 Colette Funk, and number 986 Splatter.
Good job. Meanwhile, as we've called those rosters, Colombia picking up a cut track penalty on their jammer. That is number 9 Tsunami, meaning that Greece not only have lead, but they are on a power jam.
So in addition to that roster, number 19 Zanetis was not on the original roster, but was added here for Team Greece. And she is the jammer of note in this jam, working against that front 2 wall for Colombia. Pushing hard up against for Mortician and breaking through, calling off the jam with 5 points up, and will freeze the Colombia jammer in the box. A full box right now for Colombia, so a very strong power start opportunity here for Greece, who has taken the lead 9-8.
Absolutely. I can tell you, yesterday I was lucky enough to call one of Greece's games. Zanetis was an absolute powerhouse, really powerful blocker, very strong jammer, real all-rounder, and was a massive benefit to Greece yesterday. It looks like she's doing the same again today. Next up to jam for Greece is 950 Papazakopoulos. Also, again, really strong jammer yesterday. Really good call for them to put her on at this power start.
Papazakopoulos, also known as Bullet Sucker for the Texas Roller Girls. And of course, Zanetis coming off the coaching roster. That's Molotov for Texas. Right now, Greece again getting a lead jammer. After a slow start, they picked up a couple here in a row. Right now, Bullet Sucker with the finger power pointed at her and a 3-1 pack advantage.
Those Colombian blockers were managing to hold back Papatakopoulos until Tsunami made it out of the box, though, so that not really getting the full advantage of that power start.
It will get them 4 points, though, and early on, that is, it's something to hang at least, part of your hat on. 13-8 right now, 5-point lead for Greece. Number 03, Lucky Ale with the star for Colombia.
It's up against number 8, Kismo V, or Julie Jet, as you can see it on the back of her shirt today.
Lucky Ale skating for Rock and Roller Queens from Bogota, Colombia. Had a very nice weekend of beach crawl and helped Bogota get their first WFTDA win, and she will pick up lead jammer right now for her country's team.
Julie Jet just managing to make it out the pack there at turn 2.
Spartacus into the box for Greece, so now they have the pack disadvantage, 3-2. 4 points already going up for Lucky Ale. No call off here as the jammer for Greece approaches.
Gotta wonder, maybe she didn't realize that Kismo V, my apologies, had made her way to the pack, but doesn't really matter. Lucky Ale is through with a natural Grand Slam pass. Kismo V still not managed to make it through that pack on a scoring pass.
Yeah, a lot of faith in her defense right there to keep that jam going, and faith does pay off. Another Grand Slam right here for Colombia. 4-point scoring pass finished for Greece, and we will get the call off from Lucky Ale. So nice jam right there. They rolled the dice, and it came up all in their favor. 22 now for Colombia, 17 for Greece, with 23:45 left in the first half.
So that right there is a lead change.
Indeed it was. If you know the game, go ahead and participate.
I've seen a lot of talk about that on social media this weekend. So for those of you who have been asking me questions, now is your cue. They'll know.
Yep. This next one, we'll see Zanetis with the white and blue up against number 13, Karma for Colombia. In the primary colors. Karma pushing hard outside of the inside line, getting enough room for her to sneak on through, pick up lead jammer there for Colombia. One to the box now for Greece.
I was going to say, you spotted it before I had a chance to say it. Colombia picking up, getting the pack advantage. Miahopolis heading to the box, what I believe was a multiplayer block.
4 points right there, and then it's called off just as Zanetta gets into the pack and taken hard. Jam is not on, so the skaters were still going. There has been a little question of bleed over from the other tracks.
Yeah, definitely.
So they just wanted to make sure that it was not off and keep skating right there, because you never want to just give up in case.
No, absolutely
not.
You want to try and save those points until you are absolutely certain. That jam being called off before Zanetis managed to pick up any points, so that was a 4-0 jam for Colombia.
And a nice job by the Colombian defense there to pick her off before she passed any hips. Right now we are back to Lucky Ale jumping from the outside to the inside. Great lateral movement right there. Lead jammer for Colombia.
I've seen some absolutely wonderful lateral movements from these skaters so far this weekend. Some really massive leaps from some very petite skaters. They're just kind of carrying themselves across. Working again for Lucky Ale, picking up that 5-point Grand Slam pass on what I believe is now a power jam.
It is a low block penalty called here on the Grecian jammer Papatakopoulos. So a Grand Slam opportunity. Colombia has come back strong after yielding some points, giving up the lead. They've retaken a big opportunity to widen things right here, and they do that. They widen the space for their jammer by sweeping to the inside, also drawing a penalty on Beth Salt here. This time enough room on the inside. Beautiful apex jump right there by Lucky Ale. She'll pop the top on a Grand Slam. Colombia, aggressive offensive pack work right there from number 333. That's Moppy opening it up for another 5 points, and love the aggression of the South American teams right here. Colombia really exemplifying what we've seen from teams like Argentina and the like. Meanwhile, sometimes that does not pay off. A back block penalty there on Karma, so it'll be a power jam for Greece.
Yeah, that back block being called after Papatakopoulos had made her way out of that notorious RED penalty box. So not a straight jam switcheroo with a little bit of space. That will be the full 30 seconds for Papatakopoulos now.
Greece losing a blocker to the box. as will Colombia, so it'll be even strength in the pack, but the power jam for Greece. Having a hard time taking advantage as Colombia forces her to the outfield on turn 2, drag her back into the pivot line. So that's a loss of about 60 feet right there. Great job by Colombia. They will give up 4 points, but 3 points were scored by their jammer before she went to the notorious RED penalty box. So Colombia doing a good job keeping it fast, keeping it aggressive. And Team Greece has, as we mentioned, a very short roster coming into this tournament. So if you can wear them down a little bit, that is to your advantage.
Absolutely. I mean, Greece now taking an opportunity for a team timeout, time to regroup, and as you say, with that short roster, just a little extra breathing space for those players. And I mean, while we've got that team timeout, we may as well give a quick shout to some of our sponsors. I want to shout to the amazing Bruce Boutique. We're lucky enough to have them in-house with us this weekend. But if you're not in-house, which of course, if you're listening to us, you're probably not, you can head over to www.bruceboutique.com. They do have an online holiday sale, and you can get an additional 5% off all protective gear, all bones bearings, and all faster wheels. Very nice indeed.
That is right. The largest roller derby store in the world.
Really?
That's what their sign says over there.
Fair enough.
The biggest derby store in the world.
Yep, I can see it from here. Fair enough. I have been proved. It has been proved correct.
So we've got a 3-3 start here. Greece with the power start, Kiss My V with the star. Jammer standing for Colombia. Colombia in 3 while up near the pivot line. Greece spread out, they come together and fall into passive. Not paying attention, Colombia jammer out of the box, through the pack, lead jammer Colombia.
And again with another one of those jumps across the track, finding those spaces, absolutely incredible.
Lucky Ale finding room on the inside, and that was very well set up by the blocker out there. That was Guillotina, number 100. Came across, opened it up, and just set everything up for the Colombian jammer. And one thing you'll notice is great communication from a lot of these teams. You know, even though this is really their first time playing together, they may have had some practice. And then there are a number of players that do play together individually on their home teams. But they're seeing really good communication from pack to jammers and jammers to packs from a lot of these newer teams.
Absolutely. 950 Papatakopoulos and number 2 Moon Sun Jump jamming now. Jump is your foremost jammer in the pack, but they're just constantly rotating both of those teams with strong defense. But Jump does get through for lead jammer for Colombia.
And here comes Papatakopoulos out of turn 3, finishing her initial pass. Greece with a 4-3 pack advantage. Beautiful offensive pick set backwards right there by Colombia. Opens it up and a fine apex jump right there. And that's that teamwork, that synchronicity that's really paying off here for Colombia.
It's almost like they've got some kind of telepathy going on. Those blockers are absolutely in the correct place at the correct time, making those necessary gaps for their jammers to be able to land those beautiful apex jumps.
So 58-12 right now in favor of Colombia, now 62-21 with the score update after that last jam. And this is quite a run here for Colombia. Greece, however, going to strike back. It's lead jammer for Zanetis.
But that Colombian jammer, number 04, Castablanco, first time up to jam today, chasing her down and forcing that call.
Big collision right at the end of that jam. 2 points aside, and both jammers slow to get up on the infield.
Clean up in lane 1.
So, of course, these consolation games, a nice way to extend the weekend for these teams coming all the way out to play. Of course, Team Greece does have some skaters from Greece, a number of skaters from the U.S. Talk about that after this jam. Meanwhile, who do we have jamming, Snoogans?
Jamming up for Colombia, taking that lead jammer status is 03. Lucky Ale having a fantastic game so far today. And that is Kiss My V, number 8 for Greece. Also out of the pack, chasing her down. And looks like Lucky Ale trying to call off that jam as she hits the pack. She does incur a back block penalty, meaning that Kiss My V is now on a power jam for Greece.
And Guillotina also going to the notorious RD penalty box for Colombia for a 3-pack advantage and a power jam. Greece going to need to put it together right here. They're doing a good job containing with the bully circle in the back. Meanwhile, taken out on the turn is the jammer for Greece. That was compliments of number 83, Viviana.
For a moment there, I genuinely didn't know if she was going to take her off, but just that little nudge right at the end, straddling that line, Kiss My V made the wise choice to recycle herself back.
Oh, takes a big hit right there on her way out of the pack, and that'll yield an out-of-play penalty for Gotho. So we have a 5-point scoring pass. Power jam has ended, but Colombia still in penalty trouble with the pack. Oh, sneaking around diarrhea on the inside is Lucky Ale, finishing a 4-point scoring pass. Here comes Kiss My V again, answering with 4 more.
Lucky Ale coming straight out of that box. I did not see the space in which she got through on that inside line.
It was negligible. There was not a lot of space. Diarrhea was standing about half a foot off of the line, and she just weaseled her way through with great speed.
Both jammers being taken off and reset.
V slow on the approach here as Colombia has gotten all their blockers back, but Greece with some really aggressive inverse offense, going to yield a direction of gameplay penalty, so they will lose a blocker at the end of this one, but they will gain 5 more points, and that'll bring it for Colombia 72 points, and for Team Greece 42. So a 30-point game, and we're about the halfway mark of the first half, Sneegans.
Absolutely. Greece managing to claw a little bit back. That power jam really doing them some favors to help to close that gap. And probably a good choice. They're putting up number 19, Zanetis, against number 13, Karma. Also, another Colombia blocker who's had a great game so far.
So as we mentioned, Zanetta is also known as Molotov for the Texas Roller Girls. A couple other Texas Roller Girls on this roster. Track cut forced right there on Colombia. So another opportunity here for Greece. It's 2 power jams in a row.
That was, in the words of Monty Python, that was a wafer thin cut.
And also another blocker off to the box and for Mortician. So it's a power jam plus here for Greece as they're going to get their blocker back. Right now, even strength in the pack. There she comes on the approach. 1-up offense for Greece. Gets the pack moving. Kiki going to come back, reset. Here as from Pikes Peak, Derby Dames played with Denver Roller Dolls for a bit. Zanetis there taken down, giving the Columbia blocker opportunity to bridge out, but that frees up room for Zanetis to work around, finish 5-point scoring pass and call it off. Greece on a little bit of a streak right here.
And of course that call managing to freeze that blocker, that jammer, in the box. So that means that I think that is Papazacopoulos, no, it's Spartacus making her way to the jammer line, and she's going to start another power start for Greece.
An interesting choice right here. Spartacus has not jammed yet this game. We've seen her periodically throughout the weekend. So going out of their normal rotation, maybe get a brief rest in and go with a more of a blammer. As you see right there, Spartacus just really pushing her way through on her own so the Greek pack can focus on the Colombian jammer, and a squirrely jammer it is in Karma.
Yep, coming out of that box very quickly at the start of that jam. Luckily, those Greek blockers did see her coming out. It wasn't another ninja move like in a previous jam, coming out unseen. Spartacus finally picking up lead jammer status as they make their way back around to that jammer line. But Karma is so close behind her that she can probably taste her.
Yeah, pushing off of her right there, looking for him on the inside, gets sent down, and meanwhile Spartacus pushing up through the middle. Again, just a very aggressive style, and that's what we're seeing from Colombia. So Greece, interesting choice to go to Spartacus, who also has an aggressive style with the star.
It looks like that timeout that Greece had a little while ago has put them in instead to make some changes, mix things up a little bit.
They do have some heady players there for Team Greece in the pack, maybe spread them out a little bit. Ooh, out of the box and right into the back. One of the Greek blockers just off your screen, so it's a back block penalty for one of the Greek blockers, or Colombia blockers. Meanwhile, Karma picks up 4 points.
Breezing through that pack. I know that a penalty was called there, and I'm guessing that the blockers thought it was for her, didn't make any attempt to impact her as she made her way through the pack. Easy 4 points.
Phenomenal job right there in the pack for Colombia. for Mortensen, after teammate had knocked out Spartacus, just tiptoed back, forced the track cut, and we now have a power jam for Colombia. Karma on a run right here. Oh, and she will kill the power jam. It's a power failure for Colombia. Forearm call on Karma. And, you know, what they say with Karma, what comes around goes around. She was past the point of no return, so she'll make her way all the way back around to the penalty box. Not before the end of this jam, so we will start with both jammers in the box, but Team Greece will get sprung first.
Absolutely. I could see Karma's bench coach there kind of encouraging her, come and hustle along, your penalty doesn't start till you hit that box. And she has finally made her way to it, as you say, at the end of that jam. So that will be probably around about 22, 23 seconds of that penalty that she will serve.
So keep an eye here for Star Pass. Wondering if they'll go right back to Spartacus, who had been slowed up, putting a lot of energy into fighting off those blockers, and was not having the jump she had at the end of the jam, but she has a little bit to rest here. She went to the penalty box.
Big shoulder hit there from a 986. Splatter, should have known.
Hit after hit after hit. Great waterfall hitting from Colombia, but out of play now. It's going to be a penalty to one of the blockers. Oh, it's for Team Greece. Colombia losing a blocker as well, and that bridge blocker was the one sent to the box, so the other one had to release Spartacus, who's out. Karma right behind her. So no points gained on that one, but Colombia will lose 2 blockers to the box, and Greece will lose 1 as well.
Yeah, with just over 10 minutes left of this first half, Greece have managed to close that gap just a little bit more. 55 to Greece, 85 to Colombia, 30-point deficit, and still with another 40 minutes left of the game. That's changeable.
Oh yeah, and that, you know, we saw Colombia get on a run right there, but Greece made good adjustments. They've kept the difference about the same. They're hanging in there with them, matching them point for point.
Number 2, Moon Sun Jump, mirroring the movements of number 8, Kiss My V. And it is Moon Sun Jump that picks up that lead jammer, but again, very nearly Kiss My V ready to chase her down. She is knocked out of play.
No pass, no penalty as she's coming around. Meanwhile, here comes Moon Sun Jump on the attack. Open on the outside. Greek blocker looking for answers, none to be had. Points, though, to be had for Colombia. 4 more for them. We'll make it 89 to 55. Like to thank Fast Girl Skates, serving skaters of all shapes and sizes since 2007. Fast Girl Skates, clothing, accessories, and more. If you're online, you can find them at fastgirlskates.com. Or if you ever find yourself in the Pacific Northwest, A, good on you. Send me some fresh seafood. And B, make sure you go see them over there at Fast Girl Skates, the original brick and mortar derby store.
Meanwhile, back on track, jam has restarted. Colombia have picked up lead jammer, and that is a number 9.
Tsunami. Coming in strong right there, hitting the Grecian coast, knocking down a blocker, but Greece did a great job to close it back up on her. Close it up too much and leave some room on the inside line and through on lane 1. 5 points are gained for Tsunami.
And Papasikopoulos picking up a cut track penalty heading to the box, meaning that Tsunami is now on a power jam, looking to stretch that lead a little bit more for Colombia, but she has been taken off on the inside and recycled back round to turn 1.
Nice one-on-one work in the pack from Zanetis. But great scrambling, jamming from Tsunami. 5 more points go up for Colombia. And now Colombia is starting to get some room, really taking advantage of the power jam.
Greece with a full bank of blockers back on track. Able to keep that pack moving just a little bit to save them, to give them a bit more space to block. And it definitely works to their favor. Tsunami picking up a cut track penalty just as Papasikopoulos is released from the box. So we'll have ourselves a power jam switcheroo.
Pivot also in the box for Colombia. Papasikopoulos just pushing up against that 3-wall. There's when you want to go passive, when you've got a jammer who can really pick apart walls, get them shifting, and find those seams. Right there, big hit on Papasikopoulos. Lou on the bench for Greece just looks at the refs and kind of casually does the hand flip, like, where's the direction of gameplay? Lucky Ale out as the pivot of the box, and here comes Tsunami. Beautiful, fantastic. Good speed coming in. Hard cuts, just hockey stops left. Takes a few steps, hockey stops right. And it's hard to adjust to that when you're in the pack. She will not get any points, though. Greece, however, we're waiting for the official number from the referees as they're discussing. Three points for Greece.
Colombia,
a
meanwhile.
trifecta, as it were.
The trifecta, very nice. The Colombia have broken that century, 104 points to Greece's 63. Give you a quick look at that penalty board. That is it's filling up.
Yeah, and here you see on blue, back block, forearm, back block.
Yeah.
A lot of that when they're playing this really aggressive style. Speaking of aggressive, Kiki Raz for Greece getting physical with Costi Blanco, the new jammer for Colombia, and that will send her to the notorious RD penalty box. Costi Blanco scrambling up, trying to get Greece moving. She does. One of them headed off to the box, one of them out of play, both of them out of her way, and lead jammer now for Colombia.
Still yet to see Kismoy V making her way out of the pack. And she's taken off once again and taken back to turn one, and that pivot line.
Oh, Diarrhea comes in hard and knocks down the defender, Maranya Pony, who had the soul crush on the jammer. Meanwhile, again, we're not seeing the awareness from Greece. Costa Blanco, just the two quick passes right there. There's a lot of focus and everybody trying to get their communication together for Greece, so they haven't been able to adjust from offense to defense as quickly as Colombia.
As Casablanco making those two quick passes, Kismoy V picking up a cut track penalty, so Casablanco now on a power jam once again for Colombia.
Some fine work again, Kiki Raz with the force out, getting some help from her teammate on the drag back, but the jammer comes up, and again, the Greece really has to come back together. That's what we saw with them yesterday. When they were able to reform quickly after they made their adjustments, it really worked for them. But Colombia here, nice offensive pick, but no points. Called it off just too soon.
I think that was probably a tactical choice by Casablanco to call off that jam there, because she saw Kismoy V standing in the box. So she has frozen her in that notorious RED penalty box. So I think no points, but power start.
That's right, and they want to keep their roll going. They're really getting it moving right now. Northward on the scoreboard, 124 for Colombia, 63 for Greece. Colombia has opened it up in this last handful of jams as we are just under 5 minutes left in the first half of gameplay. Let's send thanks out to Roller Bones. Bones bearings and Roller Bones wheels, a winning combination. You can check out the new signature series, including the Rogue Runner 22s, and of course the always popular Turbos by Roller Bones, one of the finest wheels out there on the market.
And I do believe, if I am reading our jam timer, Dr. Stiebel, correctly, I believe that is an official review called by Greece. So we will take a brief moment. I tell you what, if we manage to get the camera angle on it, I do hope that you get to see what I can only assume is the Greek mascot in the crowd. It is a lady dressed up, full toga, Grecian helmet with the whole.
Oh yeah, that's you see
thing. It's fantastic.
Their logo. Let me see here. I got the program right in front of me, so I can put it up on the screen. There you go. There's some Athena right there for you. A fantastic logo, and they do have the full mascot out there. She's been walking around in that getup. It's great, and one of the fun things here about World Cup has seen all the the flags and all the different outfits. The cheering sections have been phenomenal, and there are a handful of mascots. You see a lot of lion heads for South Africa and the like.
They've South Africa fashioned some very nice helmets. It looks like they've kind of deconstructed some soft toys. Helmet has got a lion's head attached to the front and a tail coming out the back. Yeah. I saw that sat on their merch stall. I was like, I really hope that's for sale, because I want one of those.
Yep.
Bit of a pain for the pivot panty though. I'm just not quite sure how I'd fit that one on.
Right.
Maybe just put it on the lion's head.
There you go. The stripe on the back and then the star on either side.
There you go.
So we are in an official review. We will get an update for you in just a second. Meanwhile, I am going to take off my headset and find out what's going on.
So just while AK is finding out what's going on for us, make sure that you check out Derby for All. We're lucky enough to have a stall with them this weekend. If you're not here, which you're probably not, You can always check them out online. You can find them on facebook.com/derbyforall or www.derbyforall.com.
So the official review was questioning the cut call on the jammer for Grease. The call stands.
Fair enough.
Yep. The hips were in front. It was a close call, but the referees confirmed and wanted to make sure everything is right. And I do have to give credit to the officiating this weekend. It has been very solid overall. Sometimes you see some inconsistency across the board, but a great crew put together, both referees and NSOs, and things have run incredibly smoothly.
And of course, along with teams from all over the world, our officials are coming from all over the world. We're so lucky that we've been able to get such a range of officials from so many different countries representing. We are incredibly lucky to have the officials that we have here this weekend.
And announcers too. It's been fun to work with. We've got announcers from all over the place: Australia, the UK, America, even. Who knew?
How crazy is that?
Yeah, I know. What a wild thing. This next jam going to be brought to us by Roller Derby Trophies. You can check them out online on the Facebooks at Roller Derby Trophies, on the Instagrams at Roller Derby Trophies with underscores in between, and rollerderbytrophies.com.
So this jam, if you will recall, is going to start on a power start for number 2, Moon Sun Jump for Colombia.
You see Colombia now with a blocker in the box. Number 3 for Blue Moppy had been called to the penalty box but did not report. So that's why they did that. Kiss My V back on the track now with only 3 defenders, but those 3 defenders very, very accurate in their pickoff hits. They send her to the outfield to make a reset. Meanwhile, it's a grand slam for Colombia.
Yeah, those Colombian blockers really swarming Kiss My V as she made her way to try and get past and kind of made a group effort to clear her off on the outside and reset her back.
Love watching Colombia. You're seeing some great physicality. Just the level of athleticism from this team. You see the moves right there, the putting on the brakes quickly and just the whole body fake outs and the roll-offs. It's just a real joy to watch. A completely different style. You see a little bit of that in the US and Canada, but it's a very heady game. There, you see some great physicality, but these teams are relying a lot on that. I mean, they're playing incredibly heady as well, but it's super fun to watch some just like straight up all out physical play. Again, it does have its negative side, and a back block penalty called on the Colombia jammer. Lead jammer right now for Zanetis and Grease.
Yeah, lucky A on there, 0-3, thinking that she had made it through to pick up lead. She was unsuccessful with that back block. Zanetis going for an apex jump on turn 1, unable to land it and picks up a cut, so we will have ourselves one of those jammer switcheroos and a full 2-minute jam.
So out of the box, landing the jump right there is Lucky Ale.
Almost as if to say, this is how you do it.
Here she comes on her scoring pass, weaving to the outside, gets locked up right there.
Zanetis back on track as well.
There's some more aggressive defense now going for offense, and Kiki Raz looking to push her jammer who got set up. Oh, and she goes down and will pick up a low block penalty. So now it's a power jam for Colombia and Lucky Ale. Beth Salt's there to stop her on the outfield. Tiptoeing along, throwing a little check into the back of her to throw her off balance. Oh, and spun around 360. Lucky Ale pops back up, and Kiki Raz is going to the box for a low block. Grand slam now for Colombia. On the move like crazy. They're really ticking up the score when they've got their jammers out there.
Looked like Moon Sun Jump was potentially thinking about a start pass there. I saw her sort of put her hand to her helmet, sort of making a tug, potentially considering that. Changed her mind and carried on through. Zanetis back on track now as well, making short work of that Colombian pack.
Ale getting hit, rolling off, and finishing her scoring pass on the outside, 4 points aside. And this jam will end just as Kiki Raz comes out of the box. A little collision from some teammates. Those two, both doing a fine job independently, but they have not been able to really put it together yet. They had the collision that caused the low block, the collision right there. There you see a shot of a Lucky Ale after a big run for Colombia. They open things up now, 150 for Colombia, 67 for Team Greece.
Just over a minute left in this half. Papazacopoulos and 0-4 Castablanco jamming now. Papazacopoulos, your foremost jammer. 2 Colombian blockers to get past, and she does. Takes a big hit, taking her off track, but both blockers also going down, so she is safe to get back on track. But that does mean that little bit of extra time meant Castablanco emerged from that pack and was matching her stride for stride, so Papazacopoulos calling that jam to prevent any further point scoring for Colombia.
We will likely have one more jam in this first half. Our score 150-67 in favor of Colombia. And both these teams, this is their one consolation game. They will be done after this. So I'm sure they're both a little bummed not to be moving on, but you know, they're going to hang their hat on the experience that they've had over these last 2 days and disseminate things. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Right now we've got one final jam in this first half. Kiss My V for Greece. And getting physical again for Colombia, that is Moonsun Jump.
And Kiss My V does manage to make her way out of the front of the pack. Moonsun Jump almost shot from a pistol out of that pack. She is zooming around at a rate of knots.
Yeah, look at her hustle right there, trying to catch back up to V, who does not land the apex jump, so 0 points aside. And I mentioned earlier in the half, in between jams, that you've got skaters from Team Greece coming over from Greece, but a lot of skaters from elsewhere. Diarrhea comes from London Rocket Rollers. We've got Gothenburg Roller Derby, Nacho Friend. Kiss My V is from Athens, as well as J-Berry Punch. And Sophia, meanwhile, Beth Salt's from Maine Roller Derby, 2 Texas Roller Girls in Sideshow Ho, who has not played, Papazacopoulos, and then, of course, Molotov, a.k.a. Zanetis. And we also have Mihopolis, who's from Toronto, a.k.a. Slam. Wow.
Yep. So
Team Greece really coming from all over the place. The Grecian Derby in Athens had just recently started. So it's moving along, and it's glad that they came together from all over the place to have this team. Even though they came in short, they did make it, and it's a lot of effort to get out to something like this. Yeah, and really put a team together.
Yeah, I mean, it's having seen them play a couple of times so far this weekend, it doesn't feel like they're skating short.
Right.
They have absolutely brought it to this tournament, and they should be incredibly proud of how they have performed. They've had some fantastic games. Oh, for sure.
And just alone to come out of, I'm going to pull up my little handy guide here, to come out of their group they're the third place team.
Yep.
You know, wherever they were thought to be, and looking at the matchups, it's not, you know, kind of nebulous as to how it was anticipated, but essentially they were kind of looked at as the 4th place team, but they had that, you know, great win over Italy, sending Italy into 4th place. So Greece cannot be, you know, bummed out about anything. You know, if that's their only win this weekend, that's a big win, because it meant they got to play against another 3rd place team, and they're going to take that back, not only to their own season experience, but really hopefully get things moving in Greece for more roller derby.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, if this performance this weekend doesn't get Greek roller derby going, I don't know what will.
An act of the gods. Speaking of which, not to be accused of hyperbole, the closest thing we have to the pantheon of roller derby gods out on the track right now, Team USA Stars and Stripes, coming up after this game. Some of the best skaters in the world, and a team who is right now slated and I think predicted to take first. However, we've got New Zealand, England, and Australia who are looking very strong.
Australia having an incredible weekend.
Yeah, they're plus minus through 3 games, over 1,200 points in favor. They have had monster wins. USA just over 1,100 points, plus, you know, over their differential in favor, but they only played 2 games.
Yeah, exactly.
So I anticipate we may see that matchup at some point this weekend, but we will definitely have USA Stars versus Stripes after this game. We're going to take a quick break, be back in about 5 minutes for the second half of Colombia versus Greece. Our score at the half, 150-67. Again, I'm AK 40 Ounce.
I'm Snoogans.
And this is the Roller Derby World Cup 2014, brought to you by Blood and Thunder. welcome back. I am AK40 Ounce here with Scoogans.
Beat me to it. You beat me to my own name.
And we are here for the second half of Greece versus Colombia. Greece, moments of strength. We saw them go on a really solid run about 5-10 minutes into the first half, but Colombia came out, took the lead. Greece came back, and then Colombia has just kept building on that lead. 150 to 67 right now, but a good game. Penalties have been an issue for both teams. We've seen 13 power jams in the first half,
which is just phenomenal. I mean, an interesting point, Lucky Ale has picked up 17 points on her own so far this game. It's incredible work by these players.
Yeah, 79 for her. That's more than Team Greece. Right here, though, Greece starting the second half with lead jammer. We'll see what adjustments they make. They've got Zanetis out there jamming, number 19. Meanwhile, Colombia, what a jump right there. Fantastic athleticism from Moon Sun Jump, aptly named.
Yeah, jumping over a down skater there to make sure she got through that pack.
The 4 points there for Greece. Good start here in the second half for them. Now, we talked a little bit about Greece, but real quick look at Colombia. We mentioned how they are really playing well together. You know, their chemistry really shows through, and they've got skaters from essentially 3 different leagues, most of them coming from the Bogota Bone Breakers and the Rock and Roller Queens. There's also a Liga Combativas Revoltosas. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but all of them from Bogota, Colombia.
Yeah.
So they've had opportunity to work together. It really shows right here.
And that is number 9 for Colombia. Tsunami, of course, picking up lead jammer in that, straight off that jam there. Number 8, Kiss My V for Greece, making her way back round to the pack, but she is shut down by Tsunami pulling off that jam.
Costi Blanco, number 04 for Colombia, saw her in the turn as her jammer came up. She just swept through. Wasn't super aggressive on the offense, but it was enough to knock down the middle defender in the wall and open up room for her jammer to get through. Colombia now going back to Moon Sun Jump. You see Papazakopoulos, number 950 in the white for Greece.
Tell you what, I saw her doing this a lot yesterday, getting so low off that jammer line. If you're on the other side of the track, you're not going to know who's jamming for Team Greece.
Not a lot of options. They do have the short roster, and they've kept their jammer rotation relatively tight. We've seen a few different ones. Spartacus in the first half for one. Right now, Colombia picking up lead jammer with Moon Sun Jump. One in the box now. Mapi going to sit in the notorious RD penalty box. Make that 2 in the box for Colombia. But those two doing a solid job, the ones that are on the track. Knocking down Papazakopoulos just out of turn 4, bringing her back 60 feet or so.
Moon Sun Jump going in heavy on that Grecian wall. Big hit takes her off, and that is a cut track.
Great job by Greece to force the penalty right there, and it just a stream of penalties. Beth Salt's going for Greece. Splatter going for Colombia. Only one defender out there for Colombia, and Papazakopoulos going to make them pay for their transgressions. Quick 5-point scoring pass.
Yeah, Viviana, strong blocker, but not quite enough on her own to hold back Papazakopoulos.
She takes a hit on her way through, compliments of Viviana, but 5 more points for Papazakopoulos and Greece. Looking for the call-off to freeze the jammer in the box, but she was not lead. Of course, Moon Sun Jump had lead jammer before she went to the penalty box. No pack called, so we're going to get a multiplayer penalty here on number 333 of Colombia. Mapi headed right back to the box, second trip for her in a row.
Moon Sun Jump coming straight at the box, finding the inside line wide open for a tidal jump over that corner to pick up 5 points, and just slicing straight through that wall again for another natural Grand Slam pass.
Being walked back twice in a row by Viviana is Papazakopoulos. Now up with one more to beat. She works her way past Splatter, and that's another 5 points for Greece. So a good power jam overall for them. They do yield points at the end of 4-point scoring pass, and we will get confirmation as the refs are discussing on the last points. 3 more points for Colombia.
And a full 5 for Greece.
See some of our officials out there. That's Penny Whistler and Miss Trial. from Canada and generally men's derby anymore. Mistral, one of the head referees for the MRDA for a long time. Penny Whistler, clap, 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 famous in Canada. Ooh.
Yeah, I was going to say some penalties flying there just in the start of that jam. I believe that was a multiplayer block. Colombia losing one of their blockers.
So we see Lucky Ale out there, the jammer for Colombia, having some trouble with Kiki her ass, but she puts on the speed, gets past that last wall, and picks up lead jammer for Colombia. Colombia now with 3 blockers, 4 for Greece, only 1 in the box. That's not going to last long, as we've got a multiplayer block being called right there on Moppy. 3 in a row now for her. She's going to get in some penalty trouble here.
Moppy also picking up a couple of penalties in that first half. She may be nearing that hot zone.
Lucky Ale finishing a 4-point scoring pass, and then right at the end we've got an illegal procedure on Karma for aggression after the last whistle is being waved off of the box.
That is a full penalty box for Colombia.
Oh, and they might have a mistake here. She has to return to the track and be in the queue, and luckily an official timeout will give her an opportunity. If that whistle would have blown, they would have gotten the penalty for insub right there.
Yep.
So saving themselves another trip since Notorious already did penalty box, or at least an extended trip. So a lot of penalties in the first half, a lot of penalties here in the second half, and like you said, we may have some people in trouble. We'll get you a shot of the penalty board when we can. Meanwhile, the number on the scoreboard reads 170 for Colombia and 86 for Greece. Played about 5 minutes and 40 seconds here in the second half, and Greece looking a little bit more aggressive, I would say.
Yeah, I think they've come out and they definitely want to try, I reckon, at the very least, to reduce that deficit. If not, come back with a winning magical story and take the win.
And if there's anything that the land of Greece is known for, it's fantastical myths and of great deeds done by amazing people.
Looks like we are having ourselves a bit of an extended timeout. I don't know if it's this same confusion that we've had over these blocker penalties. If perhaps somebody has fouled out. As we said, there were a lot of penalties in that first half, and the start of this second half has been quite frantic.
Well, judging by appearances, we do have a foul out. Moppy, number 333 for Colombia, has been pulled off. She grabbed her water from underneath the bench and is now sitting just past the bench area to watch the rest of this game. So we go over first foul out. We still got 24 minutes left in this game, and although Greece has the short bench, if Colombia keeps up in penalty trouble, Greece might have the advantage on players.
Absolutely. Kiss My V making it out of the pack way ahead of the Colombian blocker Jammer, Tsunami, pick up lead jammer status. She's made her way to that pack.
Spartacus to the box for Greece as that one ends. Kiss My V getting the call from the bench. Lou screaming at her to call it, a little slow on the call off, and that's one thing. It's Colombia, especially, they're so great at just skating through the whistle.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't want to contact after the whistle, but their jammers don't give up until they know that last whistle is blown, and then that's when they put on the brakes and roll back to the bench.
And in all fairness, Colombia are pretty effective at putting on the brakes and stopping almost instantaneously.
Oh yeah, we've seen some phenomenal hockey stops from them.
And even over our headsets, I can hear that chatter of the wheels. You know that's a good hockey stop.
So we've got Splatter now, different jammer in for Colombia. Same style, scrambling, keeping him moving left and right, getting Greece to bite one way and then going the other lead jammer here for Splatter. And Colombia, she's slowing up though, and Ian Zanettis, she's going to try and play some defense. It's a pretty bold move to go up against a Texas roller girl like that. But it pays off. They get 1 point right there. No points for Greece.
2 points for Colombia.
Oh, hey. Yes, there was one in the box. So, of course, you have heard us talk about Notorious RED there, the penalty box sponsors of the 2014 Roller Derby World Cup. They are available here or online at notoriousred.com. Smell clean even if you play dirty. We have seen some dirty play here in this one, and Notorious has gotten their money's worth.
Big hits being thrown. Number 666, Gaffo, heading to the box for a back block. Gives space for Papazacopoulos to come out and pick up lead jammer.
Moon Sun Jump comes just short of the stars on that one, and will come back and reset. Papazacopoulos spinning around, getting forced out right there. Dragged back. Viviana has been quietly extremely effective with the Soul Crush. It seems as if every time there is a force out on the jammer, she comes back. She's looking for the call off, Papazacopoulos is, and Albino Wookie keeps looking at her and saying, that is a back block. Please please report to the box. So it's a power jam now for Colombia and Moon Sun Jump.
Moon Sun Jump with a little spin there, straight off that outside line, managing to evade those blockers.
It's a phenomenal push right there, and just the cohesion, the teamwork, everything from the pack work, the blockers with the jammers, the offense being set, and the timing of that has been great. Jump locked up there by 3-wall, loses her edge. Kiki Aras, never one to back down from taking advantage on a jammer's mistake. Oh, this is a huge soul crush right there.
Taking her right back round to turn 2, but very nearly past turn 3 when she was knocked out. Goes back in, throwing her weight around, breaking up that wall. Papazacopoulos back on track. Those Colombian walls are nearly impenetrable.
Yeah, they've done a fine job, both individually and especially as a team. However, they do give up 5 points right there to Papazacopoulos, a grand slam for Greece, edging ever closer to the all-important, at least in announcer world, century mark. 191, though, for Colombia, close to a double Benjamin. So just under 100-point lead here for Colombia. We have 20 minutes left to play in this consolation game. Next jam going to be brought to us by Bruised Skate News, the original over-the-shoulder roller skate holder. Find them at bruisedsn.com. Before I can finish my sponsor read, lead jammer, Colombia.
And it's Lucky Ale once again, racking up those lead jammer statuses, and no doubt she's going to hope more of those points. Kismo V out of the pack, racing round. And it looks like Lucky Ale spotted her just before she made it to that pack. I think she thought that she was going to pick up those points. But Lucky Ale, just with a glance over her shoulder, spotting her and tapping those hips.
Yeah, she let her run just long enough. And at this point, you know, they've done a great job of pack control. Yes. They've done a great job of clock control. They've let jams go and allowed the blockers to do their work and relied on them. And it's paid off for them. They're very smart, and the smart and aggressive is really working out for them. We have a lead jammer right now for Team Greece. No lead, but out first is a splatter for Colombia. And that one will get called off. We do have a correction coming from our producer, Mr. Whistler. Number 8 is Julie Jet. Kiss My V is not here. They had another adjustment. And, yep, so there you go. Strange things happen and when you're bringing 30 countries together in the middle of Dallas, Texas for this.
And if you're listening to this back, we do apologize, Julie.
This is the official paperwork, so
exactly.
You can yell at the officials, but they've been doing a fine job all weekend.
Absolutely.
So go easy on them. Team Greece right now with another lead jammer here.
I believe.
They've got time to get things moving here in the second half. Just over 17:50 left in this game. 100 points of difference. Quick call off right there for Colombia's jammer can get back around. There'll be 3 more for Greece.
Yep, 3 more unchallenged points there from Zanitis. Greece creeping ever closer to that century.
And that is number 8, Julie Jet, not to be confused with Kiss My V.
She'll be facing off against 0-3 Lucky Ale on that jammer line.
And we do have confirmation that is her name and number. So that's good. Lucky Ale lined up hard to the inside, tried to tiptoe through, but got locked up, forced all the way to the outside. Good lateral blocking from the two all up front of Greece. Meanwhile, Greece devoting a blocker to offense for a half second, but they let it go because they had to work with the jammer. Lucky Ale is out with lead.
Lucky Ale hitting that 2-wall at the front very aggressively, really breaking through.
Julie Jett getting some big hits in the pack, and there's a penalty out of play on number 13, Karma. Jett now through, finishing her initial pass. Watch out, here comes Lucky Ale, just a step over with such great speed and a little bit of a jump. It becomes a big jump, and she finishes 4-point scoring pass there for Colombia. It'll make it 204 Colombia and 98 for Greece.
I think after this, Lucky Ale's probably going to make this a patented apex jump. Nobody's done it quite like her this weekend.
No, just the thing that really stands out about Colombia, you know, they've played smart as a team. They've played as a team. They've played aggressive. But just the thing that really amazes me more than anything, not having seen this team coming into this weekend or any teams from Colombia, is the sheer athleticism in their skating.
Yes.
You know, you can talk about athleticism, you know, the physicality and just the speed of the speed skaters.
Yeah.
You know, the physicality and the balance of you know, former figure skaters and hockey players. But these skaters out here, you can tell they're just phenomenal on roller skates, and it's translating well.
Back on the flat track, we have, I believe that is Papazakopoulou. Notes Spartacus has picked up lead jammer for Greece.
Yes, they went to her in the first half, and she had a good run, then went to the box and then finished out okay here. She picks up a grand slam for Greece.
Splatter only just making through for her initial pass. Being knocked off on the outside.
Yeah, she came in too hot right there as I did it too. It's okay. Spartacus picks up 4 points, coming around for a grand slam pass. Meanwhile, Splatter came in just too hot, and Little tap center down right now. She keeps control on this one, but she is held up by a tight cube from Greece.
Spartacus laying trust in her team to hold back. All right. Seen that once already this weekend. Looks like Splatter had knocked Spartacus off on the outside, trying to draw her around on that negative pace. No doubt looking for that eat the baby play. Spartacus having none of it.
So a quick look at the bench for Colombia. Got to give credit out there to Black Mamba and Pew Pew, as well as Matador, working the bench, the trainers and coaches for Colombia. They're doing a fine job of putting this team together and preparing them for this weekend.
Julie Jett and Tsunami juking their way through the pack, trying to get out and pick up that lead jammer status. Big hit taking Julie Jett off her feet, and I believe
she has cut the track.
She has.
On the straightaway, she was coming up 1 foot over quickly, came back in, and that was a track cut. Meanwhile, in the confusion, Colombia going to take advantage right here. Tsunami rushes through for a grand slam. Here she comes up on a pass. Puts on the brakes to the outside, one-on-one. Good job by Greece to get back in front of her. Then a fine job by Moonsun Jump to open up the hole on the inside line to the outside and clear a path. Another grand slam right there for Colombia.
Yeah, that Colombian pack once again kind of swarming those great blockers and forcing them to the outside to make space on that inside line.
It just love it, the control of the Colombia jammers right there. You see Tsunami hard right, up on one skate, juking to the right, juke to the left, come back to the right, and just they're keeping them guessing, and Greece is not cohesive enough as a wall to move with that kind of crazy frenetic energy as 5 more points go up, and you see her just working back and forth, getting those walls apart. And Colombia stretching it out again right now, up by 117. It's 227 to 110. We've got 13 minutes left in this first half. I'm going to send thanks out to Bont Skates, lighter, stronger, faster. Bont Skates, proud sponsor of the World Cup.
So it looks like we did clock that foul out from 333 Mappy. Also, number 13, Karma, has also fouled out.
Okay, now so Colombia getting into the same range of the Team Greece roster.
Working in favor of Papasikopoulos, jamming for Greece now. Some less difficult blockers to try and get past, and she makes through, picks up 4 points, and calls it, preventing Colombia from picking up any points in that jam.
Good job to neutralize Lucky Ale right there. This time we're going to see Spartacus versus number 2 for Colombia. That is, of course, Moon Sun Jump. She has 3 defenders with her. 3 defenders out there for Greece. 4 defenders out there for Greece.
Say Greece with the pack advantage.
Moon Sun Jump pushing up on the second lane. Going one-on-one right there and then moving past Miahopoulos. Now trying to find room on the outside, none to be had. Cuts hard to the inside, left wide open. Right there, Colombia doing a great job of just managing the track, getting the shift, and paying off.
I'm starting to think that Colombia have got some kind of sixth sense about just their pack awareness is absolutely phenomenal. They know where every single blocker and jammer is on track, and they're able to orchestrate that to their advantage.
This is going to be an incredibly dangerous world team when they can clean up their penalties. They've got jammers for days right there. 5 more points going up for Moon Sun Jump. I mean, you can look down their roster. We've seen Lucky Ale, Karma, Moon Sun Jump, Tsunami put up a lot of points individually as well as Splatter.
Yeah, I think by the time the next World Cup rolls around, Colombia are going to be a force to be reckoned with. Still no jammer emerging from the pack for Greece. It's been held for 1 minute 15 so far.
5 more points for Colombia right here as they're taking control of this game in the second half. We saw some great signs of life out of Greece, but Colombia just keeps their rotation going. They're working their game, and it's to their advantage. 5 more points for Colombia. They will lose another blocker. That hasn't really hurt them a ton right there. They've only got 2 defenders, but Greece, yeah, they're focusing on defense. They've got enough blockers to send one up, but they don't want to risk the points. Meanwhile, Spartacus works her own way out and finishes her initial pass.
The adaptability of Colombia, both reading how those Greek wards are playing and adapting in terms of losing blockers to the penalty box, is just, it doesn't happen very often, but I'm lost for words.
Speechless. But I will get my words back enough to use them to thank another of our sponsors here at the Blood and Thunder Roller Derby World Cup. Rydell, unmatched quality, unmatched performance. RydellSkades.com. And we have a team timeout for Greece. That will give us time to talk about a couple more of our sponsors. Rollout Fitness, get paid to skate. Everybody loves a healthy bottom line. Keep skating, share the love, and earn a nice part-time income. Leading safe, fun, effective learn to skate and fitness skating classes where you live. You can check that out at rolloutfitness.com, part of Derby Light. Also like to thank Rollline as we are on the Rollline track.
Of course.
Check out the Killers. New concept designed for roller derby, plates used by the best athletes in the world. Click action adjustment system, elastomer cushions, Amber super professional toe stops, professional wrench kit included. Everything you need right there. All kinds of sizes, the right feel for right and left foot, whatever you want. Rollline.it.
Also, very excited to be able to let people know that next year, 2015, Blood and Thunder are going to be taking up their training camps once again. So yeah, if you want to hone those skills, you want to do some work with your teams, hit up bloodandthundermag.com and there will be all the information on there for those training camps. Exciting times. They've been a bit busy this year.
They have. And we appreciate all the work that's gone into this. It's gone off great. Huge thanks to everybody here working behind the scenes and in front of the scenes for making this go off without much of a hitch at all. I mean, we usually expect this is a very DIY. It takes a lot of people, and there's going to be hiccups, but this has been hiccup-free for the most part. Thank you for joining us. Hope your stream is good, and it's sounding fine and looking wonderful. And we did just get a quick sweep from the cameraman checking out all the fans here. It's a packed house for this game. Everybody's loving the action here between Colombia and Greece. Of course, they may be anticipating the next game coming up. It will be the Stars versus Stripes Team USA Expo game. Look at that, all the way across. Fans from all over the place seeing shirts from Wales, Italy, Greece. Everybody is here to see some of the finest roller derby athletes in the world face off against each other. And I'm sure some of the other teams are hoping that they beat up on each other enough to where they might get knocked out of play. I don't think that's likely, but
dare I say that looking through that crowd, everyone probably, and your mom is here.
Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
No, that's okay.
My
own mom is probably at home watching right now, and she is watching Colombia pick up another lead jammer right here. That is 0 for Castiblanco.
And an apex jump there, picking up those 4 points. I don't think she's realized that Julie Jett is out in a scoring pass. Either that or she's once again trusting those blockers to do what they've done, to take her off, to reset her, to give space for another Grand Slam pass.
And it's worked right there. She gets rewound on the inside, easy for me to say. And Colombia does a great job of recycling up to stay in front of her. Meanwhile, just phenomenal weaving work right there from Castiblanco. And Greece it just looks in awe of the physicality here. Meanwhile, Julia Jett going to the notorious RED penalty box for a cut. Here comes Castiblanco again, bouncing off blockers from the out to the in. 5 points going up for Colombia.
I'm guessing Julie Jett must have missed that point of no return, sent herself on another lap around. So that power jam is going to be just that little bit longer for Colombia.
Grand Slam right there for Castiblanco. Up taking a hit, getting a push back from one of her teammates. Again, we're seeing some of that great teamwork that Colombia has just exemplified out on the track. 4 more points going up for Colombia. 3 points for Jett before she went to the notorious RED penalty box. And that'll leave us with a score of 266 to 117, 7:42, 1-0 left on the clock. So looking forward at tomorrow, all of our group play has finished. If we can, we will get you an update from the other track where we had Puerto Rico versus the Netherlands. It was a close game at halftime.
It was. Let me check my notes. I was doing production for that one. It was a good game.
All right.
If you had a chance to watch that, guys.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was done. Who ended up winning that one? Because that had implications in the pool. Meanwhile, we've got on the other track, simultaneous to us.
If memory serves correctly, Netherlands took the win on that one by, I believe, about 40 points.
Okay.
It was very close. That halftime really gave them the opportunity to kind of go in, recollect their thoughts, and they took that win. They took a lot of penalties, though.
Okay.
Netherlands were quite penalty heavy in that game. I mean, both teams picking up a fair amount of penalties, but Netherlands really...
You want to talk about a fair amount of penalties. Look right there.
Wow.
That is absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to do a quick count if I can. 17, 20, about 1 million.
Give or take.
Yeah, give or take. Ballpark number. Ton of penalties, but it's worked for Colombia. They've been aggressive. It has sent them to the penalty box. But if you look at the scoreboard right now, you see that their speed, their aggressive style is really paying off.
Okay, so back on track. Lucky Ale starting this jam on a power jam. If you all recall, Julie Jett heading to the box previously in that jam.
She is waiting to be released, and now will be sent out. Zanetis speeding up to the front. Oh, throws a hit and sends her out. So Lucky Ale will have to skate around the outside back into the apex between 1 and 2.
Kiki Maz going to the box for a multiplayer block, meaning there's one less blocker for Lucky Ale to get past and pick up that 5-point pass.
Julie Jett has not made any progress up until I say her name, and then she gets knocked to the outfield just before she breaks the pack.
Taken off and recycled right back round to turn 2 as Lucky Ale picks up another 5-point pass.
Gotho to the penalty box for Columbia, and a track cut forced on Julie Jett. It's going right back in, so that'll be 2 in a row where she has sat down and smelled the notorious. Meanwhile, power jam and lead jammer here for Lucky Ale. Gets knocked out by Diarrhea. Track cut forced, and we're gonna have a jammer bounce. Take a good whiff before you get out of there, Julie, because it's all Columbia's right now. 4-3 pack advantage now in a short power jam for Team Greece. The crew.
Julie Jett going in, big hits on those Colombian blockers, trying to break through. Does get taken off on the outside and reset.
Julie Jett getting cheered from her bench. Oh, an illegal procedure, illegal re-entry coming out of the box that will extend the power jam for Julie Jett, who is getting the cheer from her crew. Multiplayer block is drawn right at the end of this jam, so it'll be a power start for Greece and a 4-2 pack advantage in their favor.
This probably not going to be the one that makes the difference for the win, but this could potentially put a big chunk of points back on the board for Greece.
Yeah, they have not been as effective on the power play as Colombia has been. Colombia able to put together big runs, especially in the first half, to break it open. And I will say that the short roster for Greece is definitely it's showing some wear and tear here in their fourth game in this last 2 days. They just happen to be in one of the pools where they don't get the break till tomorrow in the consolation bracket.
Lord knows they will have earned it.
Yeah, they'll get a long break after this one. They get to sit back and watch and soak up some roller derby and enjoy their efforts. Huge apex jump right there for Lucky Ale. Papskopoulos spun out on the outside and calls it off with 1 point going up for Greece. Again, unable to capitalize on the power jam.
That really could have been the opportunity. Only 3 blockers on track to contest against, but again, Colombia just coming together and holding fast. Just under 4 minutes left of this game. Greece 118 points, Colombia 282.
And I'll say, Snuggins, it is getting packed in here. So I look around, just more and more people coming in for this next matchup. And right now, as we finish this one, another lead jammer status for Colombia. Finger of power pointed at number 04, Castiblanco. And I love the way they're using their jammer rotation here. I mean, we've seen pretty consistently Lucky Ale, but Tsunami for a little bit, Moonsun Jump for a little bit, Splatter here and there, Castiblanco now, Karma in the first half, but not a lot in the second half.
And Castiblanco checking that track ahead of her, spotting Zanitas, making her way back to that pack, tantalizingly close to picking up those points, getting shut down, jam called off.
Yeah, and I have to go back and point out that Karma probably not jamming a lot in the second half because she did foul out. But that's the price you have to pay for that aggressive approach. And you have to mitigate that, and I think we'll see that from Colombia moving forward. As we talked about, all they've really got to do is clean up their penalties a touch. I mean, it's the minor adjustments in the way they're playing right now as they pick up lead jammer. I mean, they have to clean up their penalties a lot. That board almost fell over because of the Sharpie ink on one side of it. But they just have to make little adjustments because it's just that extra bit of stopping power they need to put in and just easing up at the last second right there. 5-point grand slam untouched for number 9. That is Tsunami.
Papskopoulos being taken off on turn 2 on the outside, recycled back. Some good footwork sees her weave her way around those blockers, but they do manage to recycle themselves and reform in front of her.
Beautiful takeout right there. Splatter coming across and living up to her name. And again, just an open skate here for Tsunami. See Kiki Araz taking the head off the dragon, is picking on a Splatter to get her out of the equation and help her jammer getting sprung on her initial pass. 4 more points going up for Tsunami, and she'll call it off before Papasakopoulos can get back in and score any points. So Colombia now over the thrice century mark. 305 to 118. They've really opened it up in the second half. They have put on a great run here, and quite the spectacle. Fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite a blowout of depth, as we were saying earlier, like Australia, Italy. We've seen some big blowouts so far this weekend, but I think the crowd, definitely by the looks of things, still enjoying themselves. The Greek fans still giving their all to their team on track.
And Zanetta's right there forcing the track cut. So that will send Lucky Ale to the notorious RED penalty box. Be interested to see what her penalties are. She's lasted a lot longer on the jammer rotation than a lot of the Colombian players. Lead jammer right now for Greece. And is that it? Yep, that's the word. She has fouled out.
Lucky Ale managing to rack several points up on the board for Colombia, but that is her final and 7th penalty. She has fouled out.
And what that means, as well as Team Colombia, even though they're sending a replacement into the box, you cannot send a replacement in mid-jam, so this is going to be, the rest of this jam, an open scoring opportunity here for Team Greece. The power jam will not run out with normal time. It just means they get to keep skating and scoring points for the next 14 seconds.
It's been a very long time since I've seen a power jam of this size. It takes me back to the days of minute penalties. Oh, they were good times.
Minors. 5 points for Greece right there. 4-3 pack advantage.
Massive hit from 007 Fear Mortician. Just bouncing. I know we've said it a lot, but I cannot get over the physicality of the Colombian blockers.
Yeah, they've been incredible to watch. Just as I said, it's been a joy to watch this team operate, not only with their physicality, just their teamwork, but the penalties, again, is the one thing you got to watch out for with them. Forearm call right there. So it's still a 4-3, and a grand slam goes up for Greece. Crowd getting loud for the Grecians. Period time is done. We are on jam time. This one will run out with no jammer for Colombia. Greece going to spring into action.
That is that jam reaching its natural conclusion. That is full time on that game.
3 more points being put up for Greece, but by Zeus's beard, they have fallen from the heights of Olympus, and Colombia rises with a score 305 to 136.
I tell you what, but my MK girls and guys at home, I think they're going to love you because I'm pretty pun heavy, and you've been bringing it.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I really wanted to get a Hephaestus in there at some point in this game, but they couldn't really forge anything as far as a really strong defensive stand. Possibly flying a little too close to the sun as Icarus. No, now I'm just reaching. That's what you get when your degree is in religious studies. Okay, folks, so Colombia, Greece, we've said just about everything we could about this game. A fine performance by Colombia, extremely penalty heavy. Keep an eye out for them.
Oh, yeah.
And the rest of South America, we'll see some more South American teams tomorrow. Great props to Greece for coming out even with their short roster. They made it happen. They made the commitment, and they came through with it. And they did pick up the win against Italy.
Yes.
That was a huge one. They can hold their heads high and watch the rest of this weekend, enjoy some adult beverages if they so choose, and cheer on all the other teams participating. Meanwhile, Colombia, they're done too, but they get to go home with another victory.
Making their way around the outer track, the ref lane there, just sticking with the weaving. They've been weaving this whole game.
Moving as a unit right there, and just coming to the fans so nobody has to give up their seat for the Stars versus Strikes game, which is coming up next here. And I think I'm out of analogies, I'm out of puns, metaphors, euphemisms. If you've got anything else, Snoogans, please Tell the people back home as Greece takes their consolation lap.
You've cleaned me out, AK. I desperately want to come out with something hilarious and witty to make me look really clever, but I'm coming up blank. My wax is melting. That will do. I'm proud of that.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we really hope that you've enjoyed this. This has been an absolute pleasure to call with you, AK.
You as well, Snoogans. It's been a joy, and we will take our leave of you. We will step aside. Coming up next, Team USA, Stars versus Stripes, here from the 2014 Blood and Thunder Roller Derby World Cup from Dallas, Texas.